primary threat would be low to medium level aircraft. So it just doesn't make sense for them to fire. What about accusations that the missile battery was being sent in from Russia? Your Excellency?
Well, yes. There was, I don't know whether you have this, but there was a very good briefing in the Ministry of Defense of Russia a couple of days ago. Russia didn't provide the rebels with air defense systems, definitely not. We do have these air defense systems, and Ukrainian government, Ukrainian army, armed forces, they do have these systems. There's a lot of confusion because, you know, these are, yes, they are Russian made,
Right.
Soviet made.
Yeah.
And when you say Russian air defense system, that could be in possession of Russia or Ukraine or say Belarus, because
They're sold, exported.
yeah, and they are produced in Russia, but that doesn't mean that they are belong to the Russian armed forces. For the time being, despite all the accusations and all the blame and finger pointing, for the time being, as for today, only one party produced any evidence at all. This is the Ministry of Defense of Russia. All the other parties are just saying, are just giving statements, but no tangible evidence. So our position is that we're not accusing anyone until an investigation, a thorough investigation is made. We were asking for a thorough investigation from the very beginning. Our president stated very clearly on the 21st of July that we want a thorough investigation led by ICAO, international experts. We want the truth to be found. And the rebels, if they wanted to hide something, they would have never given the black boxes. You know, it would be very easy for them to hide them, to say that the Ukrainians have destroyed them, anything, but they were willing to do that. So that also is a thought for. We hope that actually experts from ICAO will have the access to these black boxes, because we are members of ICAO, Malaysians are members of ICAO, so we want it to be done in a transparent way, so all the experts involved from different nations could have access. Only in that case we will be confident that the detecting is done in an appropriate way. I also want to highlight that it's a tragedy, of course, and human lives were lost. And as our president mentioned, it wouldn't have happened if there was no war, if there was no fighting in Ukraine. That was Russia. That is what Russia has been standing for, and asking and trying to push Kiev to conduct a dialogue with the rebels. Because, you know, when Poroshenko came to power, one of his promises was to stop this military operation against the southeastern regions of Ukraine. But he didn't keep his word that the operation is going on. And how can you expect the rebels to surrender unilaterally? They will get killed, and they don't want to. It's natural. They want to have a ceasefire bilaterally, so that they can engage in some dialogue with Kiev, because they are Ukrainians. You know, when this in the Western media they say this pro-Kremlin, pro-Russian activists or rebels, it implies that Kremlin or Russia sent them from Russia and now they're fighting in Ukraine. It's not the case. It's they are Russians, yes, they're ethnic Russians, but they are living in Ukraine, and they have been living there for centuries, decades, centuries. But you know, I was born in Kiev myself.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yes, I want to highlight that I'm not Ukrainian, I'm Russian, but My grandparents are buried in Kiev. My father was born in Kharkiv. It actually is the town where the train with remains.
Yeah,
Where Kharkiv. The Ukrainians call them Kharkiv. We call it Kharkiv. My father spent his youth in Ukraine. I have so many relatives and friends in Ukraine. I just want to say that we are very related with Ukrainians, because everyone in Russia has a relative or a friend in Ukraine. Everyone in Ukraine have relatives in Russia. These are our relatives, our friends. We call them brother people, and we want Ukrainian to be stable, peaceful, prosperous. As our president, I think he had the perfect wording that this tragedy should not be used in mercenary and egoistical political means. It's a tragedy. It should unite people, not divide them. That's why actually we're asking for investigation to be conducted. It will not be fast. It cannot be quick, but hopefully the truth will come out. You know, as Winston Churchill said, that you can fool a small group of people forever. You can fool many people for a short time, but you cannot fool everyone forever, of course. And I must say, we in Russia were very impressed by the very balanced position by the Malaysian government and by the Prime Minister himself. I was in the Parliament yesterday. I was listening to the Prime Minister's speech, and it is very balanced. It is very, very wise, I should say. Malaysia has taken a very dignified stand. Yes, I know that there is an immense pressure for harsh statements and accusations, but we really appreciate that.